Hi everyone, welcome to SAJI'S online academy for IELTS and OET training. I am going to introduce you in this video all about IELTS Writing Task 1, report writing. Particularly, I am going to deal with bar graphs and column charts, basic tips and approaches. Let's move on to the contact details of the academy. Contact details are here. And please remember to subscribe the channel and support us. Let's move on to the content of this presentation. I would begin with an overview of IELTS Writing Task 1. Moving on to different types of charts, followed by structure and analyzing bar graphs and column charts. Then we are going to see a model answer on rate of imprisonment, a column chart. Then we will end the presentation with a conclusion. Let's move on to an overview. International English Language Testing System, commonly known as IELTS, has 4 modules. The test normally begins with listening and proceeds to reading, writing and speaking. Today I am going to introduce you number 1, IELTS Writing Task 1, report writing and analyzing bar graphs and column charts and preparing the reports definitely. Let's move on to the overview. The duration. The duration of the test is 20 minutes. And the length of writing is at least 150 words. Remember that if you write anything below under 150 words, you are penalized. Therefore, make sure that your report contains minimum 150 words, and I would recommend you that please write at least 170 to 200 words, an ideal length which can be legitimately completed in 20 minutes. And what are the different types of charts or diagrams? There are 7 different types of diagrams, and one of which you would be facing on the day of examination. It begins with bar graphs, or also known as column charts, line graphs, tables, pie charts. A combination of these 4, bar graphs, line graphs, tables and pie charts, that is known as mixed diagrams. And sixthly, maps and plans, and ends with process diagrams or flow charts. Well, now let's move on to the structure. What would be the possible structure for preparing this report? I recommend you to begin your report with an opening paragraph introduction, paragraph 1. You can write there the paraphrased question. Then you can proceed to paragraph number 2 and 3. Let's call the body paragraphs. And what are you going to write in the body paragraphs? And I would say, suggest you to categorize the information given in the question or in the diagram. Then write about the first category of information in paragraph number 2. And what about paragraph number 3? You can think of writing the second category of information in paragraph number 3. And how to categorize the information, I will teach you, when we practically do the model answer. Again, if you think that you need to write some other information, or you need to include any other information, you can think of creating a 4th paragraph definitely. Now coming to paragraph number 4, you can write an overview. In other words, you can say write a kind of a mini conclusion in the format of an overview. Okay, that's a structure I recommend. Then coming to the question analysis and answer for a bar graph or column chart. So look at the typical way of presenting the question. Writing task 1. You should spend about 20 minutes on this task question. The chart below shows the figures for imprisonment in 5 countries between 1930 and 1980. Summarize the information by selecting and reporting the main features and make comparisons where relevant. You should write at least 150 words. Now, how can we manage this particular question? Remember, the basic step in writing or preparing a report in IELTS Writing Task 1 is pre-writing. If you are successful is in preparing the keywords and ideas in pre-writing, definitely you are going to present a wonderful is report. So what are the different moments in this pre-writing? First of all, you need to read the question and make the keywords relevant for paraphrased question. That means in paragraph number 1 we are going to make a paraphrased question, and definitely you can think of keywords or some important synonym words for the question, so that you can make a paraphrase. What do you mean by paraphrased question? It is parallel wording. You are parallel wording the question. Then followed by analyzing the diagram. Very, very important is a moment in pre-writing. And what are you going to do in this part of analyzing the question? You have to go through the information given in the in the question and try to understand what is happening there. What is the development? What are the trends appearing in this diagram? And then categorize them into 2 or 3 body paragraphs. Then, for example, you can think of trends like increasing trends and decreasing trends, which we are going to see in today's model answer. Then you can also think about or plan for an overview. I told you, you can at the end, instead of conclusion, you can write an overview. Then you just finish your writing with a proofreading. Why? This part, proofreading, is very, very important, because you can save a lot of mark. You can correct your spellings, punctuations, even ideas if you heard all already. You can think of correcting all those things at the time of this proofreading. Well, now let's straight away move on to a model question here. So here is a column chart, or let's call it a bar graph. So you see rate of imprisonment in 5 countries. So read if there is a title for the diagram, read well. There's a rate of imprisonment in 5 countries. And what is the best method of approaching this bar graphs and column charts? Analyze the vertical axis like this, as well as the information given in the horizontal axis. So what is there in the vertical axis of this is a column chart? So here 0 to 100, there is 160, the range is given, but the unit is given in the side. It is in thousands. So 0 refers to 0,000s, 1,000, and 160 refers to 160 thousands. So what about this is a horizontal axis? It refers to 6 different decades. Okay, wherein this rate of imprisonment has been recorded. So look at the different moments, 6 decades, starting with 1930, followed 1940 through 1980. Now we have got different colors, and color codes are here. There is a blue referring to Great Britain, followed by orange Australia, grey New Zealand, yellow USA, and finally we have got light blue here for Canada. Now, what shall we do with this particular graph? It appears to be very complex, very complicated. Some bars, no idea where it starts and where it ends. It appears to be totally complicated. But remember, it's very simple to analyze bar graphs and column charts. Now, what is the most striking information here? So you see the yellow column. It's on the top always, almost always. At least in out of these 6 decades, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. At least in 5 decades, this yellow column is on the top. What does it mean? It means that USA recorded the highest number of imprisonments in these decades, in this period. What happened with 1930 then? That's the only year where the imprisonment rate is low in USA. And identify what is happening here. You see the first figure, is 1930, the yellow line is in the 100. So that is to say 100,000 imprisonment in the year 1930. However, the next period there is an increase. So it goes to 130. It's 30,000. It's 30,000. It's increase. Then there is a fall. It's a fluctuating trend. It comes down to 110, then 120, then comes here. It's almost 90, then touches the peak with 140 thousand. So How can we understand this one? This is very simple. Look at the is way. Even though there is a fluctuation, identify the beginning is the initial figure is 100 and it ends with 140. So 100, there is a traveling of or moving of is imprisonment from 100 to 140. What does it mean? It clearly indicates an increasing trend. So while it's a pre-writing it's a time, just to prepare a column increasing trend and put the data this USA under that category increasing trend. So we have got one category increasing, the country that shows an increasing it's a trend in terms of imprisonment. So very simple. Okay. And please remember to mark the important moments in this initial data you need to supply, and the end date highest peak you need to mention, and in between you can think about this fluctuating trends. Now secondly, the top line is definitely this blue is refers to Canada. So coming to Canada, what happens? So Canada's imprisonment begins with 120,000 in 1930. That's the data. Or you see, the last year it comes on 1980, it comes to 100,000. So even though there is a fluctuation in between you, so what is the trend here? It's a decreasing trend. It comes down. This is the key. So make another column in your question paper where you make pre-writing points. So create a second column, write under in that column there's a decreasing trend in Canada. However, remember to mention this starting data, and there's a fluctuation in between in 1950. However, in all other years it's a clear it's a decreasing trend. Well, what about the next one? Is all about New Zealand, the grey line. Here you see the is a data in grey line is here 1930. Australia is New Zealand imprisonment is all about is 100 is thousands. So what happened in the next year? There's a sudden fall. You need to mention this sudden fall. It halved, the rate of imprisonment halved here, made into 50% down drop. So yes, there is a sudden fall. Okay, so you need to record this data 1940. However, in all the rest of the period, what happens is almost the same. Then there is an increasing trend that is touches is almost 70,000 imprisonment. But remember, so the initial imprisonment was about 100,000. Now you see it's 90. So from the beginning to the end, if you consider, it shows a decreasing trend of 100 to 90,000. In between, definitely the varying information is given. So mark it and place this New Zealand also. It's just it's below the information about Canada under the head decreasing country that shows, our nation that shows a decreasing trend. And what about Australia? Look at the Australian trend. Initial figure is 1930. It's all about 70,000 is imprisonment. But in the next year, 1940, there is a fall. 20,000 fall. It's all it's a 10,000 is a fall. It's almost about it's a 50 is a 1,000. Then in the next year again almost 50,000. Then there are some slight increase. Then comes to a fall. So in the last year 1980, the rate of imprisonment was just is 50,000 in is Australia. So what is the overall trend? General trend is definitely it shows an increasing from 70,000 to 50,000. Then how will you manage the data in between? For example, in 80,000 here in the year 1970, put it as an exception. Though or however, or except in 1970 it showed a decreasing trend. You can write something like that. Then finally it's coming to Great Britain. What is happening there? So it simply shows that there is an increasing trend. You see first 2 years is 1930 and 1940 it stands almost the same, 30,000 imprisonment. However, it increases gradually. It increases. It's almost a gradual increase. And by the year 1980, Great Britain recorded is an increasing trend. Is almost 90,000 is imprisonment. So where does it go? This information under the head is increasing trend. So finally, we made two different categories. So categories. What are they? The nations that shows an increasing trend in terms of their imprisonment, as well as the nations that shows a decreasing trend in terms of the imprisonment. Increasing trend in USA as well as in the Great Britain, whereas a decreasing trend can be found in Canada, Australia and New Zealand. Finally, we got two beautiful categories. Now think about writing about these two paragraphs with this information. That's quite enough. You can make a wonderful report. Now let's do a model answer. Look at the question here. First thing we need to do is to paraphrase the question. Look at the question here. The chart below shows the figures for imprisonment in 5 countries between 1930 and 1980. So how to paraphrase this one? Think about a possible paraphrase here. The given chart demonstrates the rate of incarceration, means imprisonment, in 5 different nations over a period of 5 decades from 1930 to 1960. You can think about, it's not 5, it's in fact 6 decades from 1930 to 1980. So coming to the body paragraphs. We already created 2 categories, beautiful categories. Now how to begin a paragraph? Always begin a paragraph with the information about what you are going to write in this paragraph. Something like a topic or a thesis statement. It would really help the examiner to easily identify what this particular candidate is going to present in this paragraph. Look at the way it is written. One of the striking aspects of the chart is the increasing trend in imprisonment in USA and Britain. You see, what are we going to write in this paragraph? Just the increasing trend. There are 2 countries that shows increasing trend, and we are going to write about those 2 countries and the data given in the chart. And we need to elaborate this one with the data. The rate of incarceration in USA showed a noticeable increase, though fluctuating. So we mentioned that one, fluctuating throughout the period, 100 to 100,000, 140,000. However, in the year 1970, it had just 80,000 confinements. So look at the bar graph. You will understand what is this data about. Noticeably, USA recorded the highest number of imprisonment in all periods except in 1930 and 1950. So except these 2 years, they recorded the highest number of imprisonments. Whereas the rate of imprisonment in Britain showed a steady increase from 30,000 to in 1930 to 90,000 by the year 1980. So it's very simple way of creating, and we have organized well the data. If you can organize well the data and present your report, you are going to score very high. Now coming to the paragraph number 3. On the other hand, Canada, New Zealand and Australia depicted a decreasing trend in the rate of imprisonment. What is this sentence? It's all about topic sentence. We are just telling the examiner that what we are going to write in this paragraph. Now we have to provide the data. Among them, Canada topped the chart but clearly indicated a fall in imprisonment. In the year 1930, it had 120,000 imprisonments but fell to 100,000 by the year 1980. So what we are telling that among the nations that show a decreasing trend, Canada topped the list. It doesn't mean that Canada is the Canada is topping or Canada tops in the list of imprisonment. No, it simply says that among the means the decrease in the nations that shows a decreasing trend. The decreasing trend, Canada shows tops the chart. In the year 1930, it had 120,000 imprisonment but fell to 100,000 by the year 1980. You see, clear. No, so it's a decreasing trend. Similarly, New Zealand had 100,000 confinements in 1930, but it fell to just 50,000 in the year 1940 and showed a progressive, so that's the next year, in the second decade, and showed a progressive trend which reached 80,000 by 1980. So very clear way of writing. Interestingly, Australia sent 70,000 people to jail in the year 1930, but manifested a downward trend except in 1970. So I told you already, while analyzing, we need to especially mention this data. 1970, 80,000 imprisonment in that particular period, and by the year 1980, it had just 50,000 imprisonments. So you see what did basically we do in these two body paragraphs. We analyze the data from the information from the chart. Then we understood what is happening there. We identified the trend and we categorize them into decreasing trend and increasing trend, and beautifully narrated those information with the data, relevant data or relevant figures. Now let's think about a conclusion. Look at the way it is written. Overall, it is evident from the chart that the percentage of incarceration showed means imprisonment showed an increasing trend in USA and Britain and a decreasing trend in Australia, New Zealand, and Canada. So how it is written is very simple. Remember, once you are capable of identifying the trends, you just write about the trends, that trend as an overview. That's quite enough for this report writing. If you can make something similar to this one, your writing score is going to be excellent for IELTS writing test. And remember, this is the writing. This is from writing task 1. And again, one more task you have, that is essay writing. And I am going to release a number of videos pertaining to all other types of diagrams as well as essays. Therefore, please subscribe my channel and wait for other videos if you are really preparing for IELTS. Have a nice day.